Every damn video about this game talks about how Duel Links has been ruined by skill. But hey man, are they wrong? The whole meta is completely dominated by skills, not just by representation but by context too. Your deck has to be able to contend with the inherent board breaking that skills are now giving to so many decks. You gotta be able to deal with the fact that your hero opponent is definitely gonna have Super Poly. Resonator opponent is definitely gonna have Fiendish Chain. Your Predaplant opponent is definitely gonna have Hydra. And your DDD opponent, actually, never mind about DDD, nobody plays that deck. But you know what I'm saying. Decks keep getting easy access to board breaking just for going second. And while I don't technically hate this idea on its face, since going second is naturally a disadvantage in this game, the form this board breaking takes often warps the format around it. Especially with something like Hydra or Super Poly, they can't be responded to. And they don't target or destroy either, so you can't exactly protect yourself from them either. Even aside from this, skills often just let you put a whole body on board for free. Sometimes, even multiple, and if the skill puts the monster face up, then you can't respond to it being there at all, and you have to wait for the opponent to make another move. And if it's face down, you gotta respond to its flip summon, and that does limit the types of interruptions that can be useful in those matchups. These things are all besides the fact that skills often give insane pluses, which is unfair enough that your deck has to be able to plus that much, either through its own cards, which is super unlikely, or through your own skill to be able to compete. I'm actually fine with the fact that skills give insane consistency and bonus extra deck cards. Like, extra deck mechanics like links and synchros were designed with large extra decks in mind, and they've been super hurt by the smaller extra deck size, the way that fusions and Xyzs just aren't hurt at all. And bricking isn't fun for either player, so reducing bricks is something I think makes perfect sense for a skill. And if the cards end up being a problem when they're too consistent, then a ban list can just deal with them. I say all of this to say, yes, skills are fucking up the game for us. Even if we might enjoy some of these skills and enjoy the meta, it's pretty hard to ignore the impact that modern skill design has had on the game, and it seems like it's gonna be very hard to go back to a semblance of the way things used to be. I'm not about to doom post you guys. I'm not gonna tell you about a problem without giving you a real solution, other than complaining endlessly to a company that isn't listening. Today, I'm gonna show you the 6 best decks in the game that don't need a skill at all.
But I'm dead. How do you know what 6 are best when there aren't any good skillless decks these days?
Great question, Soy Jack version of me. It's because I've been running a tournament series, the 6K Championships, where skills are completely banned. Even the bad skills. Even the skills that only push their decks to being barely playable. Just straight cards. And by seeing the results of these tournaments, I've been able to see which decks don't need skills at all, and some of them may actually surprise you. At our number 6 spot, Unchained doesn't have a skill at all, but it's gotten the most top since I began doing this skillless tournament. The only reason it's low on this list is because new decks have come out and kind of powercraft this deck just a bit. Not enough for the deck to not be super good though, since there's no skills in this format. Every deck has to play using the cards themselves, and in a grind game where card advantage is super important, Unchained is way too damn good, since every card just kind of replaces itself in some way or another. And they put up some really good interruptions, like using the opponent's monsters as link material, destroying their shit without targeting, and the deck has a trap that's kind of like a scrap dragon for the deck. We do have a guide on the pure version of this deck. I'll leave it in the description because the game plan hasn't really changed from that point, but there's also a live twin version of this deck. I'll show it here. We don't have a guide on this new version of the deck since live twins have gotten more support since our Unchained Twins video, but by watching that video as well as our new live twin video, you can pretty easily piece together how this deck is played. I'll also leave links to the decks I'm showing in the video description if you want to copy them to your account. Subterror is actually a totally different situation to Unchained. Subterror actually does have a skill, and not only that, it's a really damn good skill. It gives you a really good consistency, early game power, potential card draw, and some inherent board breaking at the beginning of the game. In standard dueling, the skill is definitely important just to be able to keep up with the other deck skill, but in this skill-less format, the power level is lower, so this deck's able to pop off without the skill. This deck's got a quick effect Book of Moon, a hand trap Omni Negate that you get to keep using, and they got a busted ass trap with a million effects that help you get your flip effects going, get huge damage in, and make sure your effects can't be negated. This deck's already really consistent as it is, especially since it has Part of Duality. And while we're on that topic, Part of Duality being in the deck means you get to more easily find your unsearchable text like Nibiru, Super Poly, Book of Eclipse, Needle Sealing, which all synergize super damn well with the deck. We don't have a guide video on this deck yet, but when I have time, I am gonna make one, so make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it. Dinos is another deck that does have its own skill, but it's not really a super busted skill. It's just like a cool thing that you can use. It's not mandatory for the deck to a point that People even play RDF versions of the deck instead of using the deck's own skill. And the reason for all of this is that Dinos is an incredibly complete deck type design-wise. Its cards all synergize with each other. The output of the deck is super strong. Like, they got a Book of Eclipse boss monster that can attack everything, a back row negate, a summon or back row negate, and have your red mask. They can make themselves unaffected during the main phase. This deck can also make really good use out of IP, and this deck can make Dweller, which is really good against Unchained. You might not expect it, but one of the titans of dueling for the last 9 months, Lyrilusc, is super damn good without a skill. Despite all the consistency hits, this deck's game plan is just too damn strong. You can use Wind to help you search, but also get a Bird Engrave to revive with another bird to get your combo going. And it's going to be tough for most decks to deal with an untargetable Nightingale, and even harder if you can set up a Robin next to it. And this deck OTKs so damn easily. One of the things people used to do against Lyrilusc is play decks that could use life point boost skills like Link Dark Rays, Exceeds Light Rays, all those extra deck mechanic attribute raise skills, you know the ones, just to get themselves up to 5500 life so that the Lyrilusc player couldn't attack for game through interruptions. But in this format, there's no skills, so it's gonna be really damn hard to stop Lyrilusc from attacking for game. You're gonna need to pack some type of out to Nightingale in your game plan, and I think that makes for some solid deck building. I like when a format makes you deck build like that, rather than having your skill solve every problem under the sun. We do have our Lyrilusc video if you want to check that out. It's definitely outdated, but to be honest, the deck's not the most complicated deck in the world. You'll be able to figure out how to play it without a skill pretty easily. It's so funny, the Resonator deck and its skill is one of those deck and skill combinations that I don't really hate that much in standard speed duel. Like, Fiendish Chain is one of the easier board breakers to play through or around. It targets, it's continuous, there's a lot of weaknesses to exploit there in different ways, and the fact that it does let you cheat out an RDA for the cost of a card from field and a card from hand is kind of fair to me, because it is technically a -1, which is what synchro summons usually are anyway, so it's like a fair bit of extension. That being said, my issue with the skill isn't what it does, but the fact that Resonators is actually super damn good without the skill, and it's done really well in these skillless tournaments. And that leads me to see that the only reason Resonator has this skill at all is because dueling skills have really gotten to a point that even a deck as good as Resonator needs a supporting skill to keep up. If skills had been handled properly by Konami, just giving the super strong ones to decks that are super weak without them, and just giving the strong decks a consistency buff at most, or even some recovery maybe, Resonators wouldn't have actually needed a skill to be viable. Funnily enough, there's often plays you can make in Resonators even without the skill, where you don't even need to use the part of the skill that puts an RDA on board. You just use the part that gets Fiendish from deck. And in this skillless format, you're gonna be doing that same play just without getting the Fiendish from the skill. You can still get the Fiendish with a searchable Fiendish Golem, which can set Fiendish Chain from your deck or grave. If you want to learn how to play Resonators, we got that video for you too, so go check that one out and you'll be ready to play it in the 6K Championship. Finally, probably the best deck you can play without skills right now is Live Twins, and man, this deck doesn't have its own skill at all. So looking at the whole list, only the 6th place and 1st place don't have skills associated with it. All the other 4 decks have skills, but just don't need them in a skillless format. Live Twins is super damn consistent, and it doesn't have all that many inherent interruptions, but it does have a 1-card play that sets you up for the whole game through gradual card advantage, popping an opponent's card every turn, drawing a card every turn. This gives us really good access to any non-engine that we might want to play, since we are going to be pretty likely to draw into whatever we need when we need it. This deck can combo on follow-ups, which is my favorite type of deck. An unassuming turn 1 with a bombastic turn 2. And the fact that you can draw so much and play so many staples means that if you do get interrupted, there's a pretty good chance that you'll be able to both stay alive and also try again next turn. But this deck does have its ways of playing through interruption with its searchable extender, and if we don't need them, then we got searchable back row too. This being at number 1 might be a little biased. I do really love this deck, like I put my best Chronicle on Trouble Sunny. But even despite all that, this deck was the most successful deck in the last 6KC. And since there hasn't been any other speed duel releases since then, it's still gonna be your best choice going in. But don't let that fool you into thinking you're gonna have an easy time. The other 5 decks on this list are all really closely powered, so any of them have a shot at winning any tournament. So guys, if you haven't picked it up already, this whole video is me trying to not only let you know that the no skill format exists, but that I want you guys to be able to play in it and have a good time. It's going to be every Saturday. I'm going to be streaming it right here on YouTube. If you want to join, the link is going to be in the description, and if you want to keep playing, then the link to our Discord server is in the description too. I'll post the sign up link every week in there. Just make sure you go to the Get Access channel and react to the rules in there, and then go to the roles channel to pick up your tournament duelist role so that you'll always be notified when the sign up link is ready. The winner gets the 6K champion role in the Discord, $10 by PayPal, and an invitation to a bigger tournament happening in December this year where the prize is going to be $100. So hey, if you're trying to win some money, have a good time playing a more fun format of dueling, or even if you're just nervous to get into the regular competitive scene and want something to help you get your feet wet to get you ready for the big leagues, then join the tournament. The link's in the description. You guys can catch me streaming it Saturday 7 p.m. Eastern right here on YouTube. Other than that, guys, if you like the video, then slap like now, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the bell to get notified next time we drop a video. Have yourselves a good one, guys, and I've been Undead from Team 6K, signing out.
Hey, why they gotta hate on me? I done got me 250,000 views and they still saying they low key. They ain't wanna come work with the kid, but I'm flexing with Zay on beats. How they ask for a spot at the gym, but they leave all the weight on me. I don't ask them to wait on me. They would ask where they gon' be with a song if they wanted the Weatherman. I ain't asking to pay no fees. She was homeless and needed a spot. I ain't ask her to pay no lease. I ain't ask her to say no please. I ain't ask her to make no cheese. Scream fake, but it ain't on me. Got clean so it ain't no streets. Why green if it ain't no keeps? Brought cream so it ain't no beef. My team say it ain't no chief. My demon they hang on me. They seemingly ain't no peace. I seen him, he ain't no beast. For